Hey there, homeowner. This is Adrian again with Launchpad Services. Happy to have you back to the channel. I'm about to do a video review from this air conditioning contractor. His name is Joshua Griffin. I listen to a lot of different people online, but this guy pretty much has a really good handle on his business practices, very needle eye approach at some of the things that holds contractors accountable, and also focusing a lot on the homeowner's best interest. So we're going to go through a couple areas of his video and we're going to talk about it as we go through. All right, cool.
Some of the top mistakes that I see homeowners make when buying a heating and air system. Unfortunately, with heating and air, unlike even a car or even a house, a lot of folks just don't do it enough. They don't stay up on the new technologies or information out there. A lot of folks are trying to cram a lot of education in a very short amount of time, learn what they can before they purchase that next heating and air system. So if you've caught this video, let's go through some of the top mistakes I see you homeowners make when they're buying their heating and air system. Number one, going with the cheapest bid or getting only one bid. I tell folks, even at Griffin Air, when I have customers, I have no problems with them getting multiple quotes. Sometimes that means we might even lose their business. But I do have confidence that we have a great product. We have some things that no one in our area offers that only we offer. And sometimes I understand that even as great as some of those things are, like the best warranty in the area, homeowners may not want the best warranty in the area. Maybe they just want the cheapest bid they can find. So I encourage homeowners all the time, go ahead and get more than one quote, more than just us, and go with who gives you the warm fuzzies. But even when you do get multiple quotes, I would highly recommend, in a lot of cases, you're getting what you're paying for. Instead of going with the contractor that did give you the warm fuzzies, a lot of folks will just go with the cheapest bid that they received. And again, sometimes you might be getting what you're paying for. I'm not saying that you should never go with the lowest bid, but if you get, say, 4 quotes and 3 of them are this amount of money or in this range, and one of them was half than the rest, there's probably a good reason for that. For 3 companies to be significantly higher, maybe this company's missing something. Maybe they're about to not just install a heating and air system for you, but also give you a whole lot of headaches. So I just would caution you, if you're getting multiple quotes, be careful. Don't always just go with the cheapest bid. Know what you're paying for and make the best long-term decision, especially if you're going to be in that home for any amount of time after that. Number 2, I see.
So before he goes into number 2, I want to really comment on the fact that a lot of homeowners are doing a lot of research. They are checking Google, the internet. Past manager of mine once said the internet is the most scary place to do research because there's just so much variety. When I say variety, I mean the internet is open spectrum. So you could be living in one locality and you could be searching up information that's relevant in another locality. For example, if you are living in Florida and you're doing research that, say, Consumer Reports may have done, and a large portion of those surveys were done, say, in New York, in the Northeast, it's a whole different approach because, number one, Florida is the most subtropical climate in the United States. And number two, our climate is way different in terms of our swings from hot to cold, as opposed to in New York, for example, where snow plays a role in how people buy heating and air. Also, major fact, because of Florida's salt and moisture content, we have systems dying much faster because of rusting and the heat and all that stuff, versus up north, we have systems lasting for 10, 20, 30 years. And so there are factors that validate getting credible information from the contractors that you're working with and making sure that you're separating the internet information from the localized information that's relevant to your market. And again, when we come out to a home, we always are giving different options. So pretty much options are based on, in our format, technology. But before we even get to that, we're doing a needs assessment to see what's going on in the home. Is the electric bill high? Who has allergies or respiratory or prone to indoor air quality sicknesses, whether it's cough, a sneeze, sinuses, whatever. And we also want to consider how is the system impacting the customer's life from a noise standpoint, from a health and safety standpoint, and just simply from an efficiency standpoint. Those are some key points. And then we go into our options. Okay, we're going to have top grade, we're going to have, middle of the road, lower middle of the road, and standard. You can chop that up any way you want. Gold, silver, bronze, standard, A, B, C, D. The fact of the matter is there are going to be different technologies that dictate why one is 30,000 versus 13,000. And so I like the way how he goes into all the details regarding pricing, because sometimes there is a delta between the top option and the base option. And that may simply mean the cost is as a result of what the customer is paying for. And in many cases, how we do it, I'm not sure how somebody else may do it, it's based on the technology and the upgrades that are required. For example, with an inverter system requires the most optimal duct work so you can have the best airflow. With that being said, if you are putting in a high efficiency Lennox, whatever, XP25, SL28, whatever it is, you're going to want to make sure you have the best ductwork, because that could create an issue later, versus if you have a standard unit like an ML14 or whatever. Not that you don't need the best duct conditions, but that system will be less impacted by the airflow constraints that would have normally been a problem for a more efficient unit. And I like the way how he goes around in the price ballpark, because that may determine cost difference. Another cost difference is also because a lot of companies have overhead. Their business operations is what it is. They have 500 trucks, 40 trucks, 10 trucks. They have a bunch of overhead. And that overhead as a business has to be paid for. And that's now where we get to the slippery slope of, because it's more expensive means it's better. Not always. And I've done other content pieces on this in the past to say, well, because something is expensive doesn't mean that it's better. You have to go into the details in terms of what you're paying for. So I really like how he really digs deep into that. But let's keep watching and see what else he says that we can comment on.
This one so much. I probably caution against this one thing more than any other thing, and that is I see homeowners worrying about brands more than anything else. They care way too much about which brand they're installing. Now, do I have brand preferences? Yes. Just like when I'm buying a car, do I have certain car brands that I'll avoid, and certain ones that I like to buy? Yes. Based on my experiences or things that I've heard or whatever, there are certain car brands that I have preferences on, and that's what I'm going to purchase. Well, heating and air is the same way with a lot of heating and air guys. But what I would caution against is you as a consumer, you as the homeowner, I would worry a little less about the brand and more about the contractor. I would find a contractor, again, that giving you a price and they gave you the warm fuzzies, they did everything right, they are super busy. I always tell folks, I don't care how big the company is. You go with a gigantic company or a tiny company. I think there's pros and cons to all companies, but it's like my dad used to say, if there is a line out the door of the restaurant, there's probably a reason for that. They probably have really good food. If you've got a contractor that this is just kind of their side business, they don't stay busy with it, it's not really their thing, if you will, and maybe I might caution you to stay away from them. But once you do find that right contractor and you have gotten those warm fuzzies and you're going to pull the trigger, go with the brand that they recommend, the one that they know and love, the one that gives them the warm fuzzies, and the one that they're going to stand behind after they install it in your home. So worry less about the brand, worry more about the contractor, and then just major in the majors. Don't major in the minors, right? Number 3, not.
So we're going to end on that take. So the key here that he's saying in this final point is that a lot of people are so captivated with brands, and we all have our preferences for brands. The big difference with brand and air conditioning versus brand and a car is that it's not like it's a refrigerator that you're going to pick up at the store and plug it in and it's done. The installation process of an air conditioner is probably the most, not probably, the most important aspect of the life of that system. And that is across the board, across the industry, wildly accepted and widely accepted. It is a fact. There are many brands out there. It's like the industries that we're in right now. You can see any car brand, whether it's a lower end or a high end, everybody is coming to a certain standard, whether it be by government regulations. They have to have a safety profile that is acceptable by the market, and also efficiency standards. It's all about every company, everybody right now is at a level where their cars are comparative to some of the higher luxury brands. Everything is upgrading to a level. So as a homeowner, I have to consider the fact that by law, these companies have to build machines that are durable. They have to build machines that are up to new EPA and energy standards. And on top of that, the company that's installing them has to be licensed and trained in order to properly install. So at the point of the company, he said something about if you get the warm and fuzzies with the company that you're working with, meaning you trust the company, meaning you have done your research, you have done your checks and balances and your due diligence regarding that person's or that company's larger reputation. You've done the Google search, you've done the Better Business Bureau, you have looked through the reviews, and you have talked to people who have worked at the company before. Now that you have done that, it's more about finding out if that company is listening to the needs that you have. If your needs are that, such as the ones that I mentioned before, whether it's respiratory, energy, efficiency, noise, comfort, whatever it is, if they are able to specifically target those needs with the equipment or the technology that they have, that's pretty much one of the most important things, because the system by itself cannot do the work. It is the installation process. It is maybe modifying airflow. It may be adding indoor air quality components to purify the air. It may be putting surge protection. It may be relocating a system. It may be recommending a certain type of system that doesn't make as much noise. There could be so many different things that a contractor can do to determine whether or not your needs are met. And so it's not so much about the brand, because the brand is almost identical to all 15, 20, 30 other brands out there, because they're all made based on a certain baseline standard. And on top of that, people don't realize that a large part of the distribution and manufacturing of air conditioners, the top 5 brands own majority share of the companies and the actual systems that are deployed in the market nationally. There are many companies that are owned by one major brand, and the major components are all the same in many cases. So I wouldn't get too caught up in brand. Like cars, sometimes we're paying more for a name than we're paying for value. And so if you trust that company, if they're reputable, not putting a piece of junk in people's home as a past function of their operation, you can trust them to know that they're going to do a good job recommending the right system, listening to your needs, and also issuing and honoring warranties and guarantees that's going to make sure you as the homeowner get the upside or get the better end of the deal, because their reputation is as tied to the equipment as they're tied to you, because the equipment is literally what connects you and the contractor. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Put any particular comments you may have down below in the comment section. Remember to like and subscribe. We want to serve as a agent of advice in these streets. I know HVAC is a very expensive and costly process. You make one mistake and it's going to be a mistake that's going to be a very costly one. And so as you're going forward in your research, be sure to be very particular about who you choose and making sure that your values align with theirs as they're coming into your home to serve you and your family. Hey, this is Adrian again with Launchpad Services, and we're here promptly located in the Palm Bay region, serving Central Florida. And we're super happy with our local customers. If you guys have any issues whatsoever with your air conditioners, if you have questions or you have concerns, we do offer free inspections. We also have specials every now and again where we have a $49 air conditioning tune-up where we come out and we do a full 21-point precision tune-up. We have membership plans also that are subscription based, that we are on a automatic schedule, coming out every 6 months, putting you on top of the priority list and making sure that you're getting all the different steps that goes with your air conditioner to keep it going per the manufacturer standards. Hey, again, hey, have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.